Friends of Oak Hills, this is Pastor Dale with our weekly video Touchpoint. Today is Thursday, May 29, 2025. We're on part 9 of this series, reviewing and talking about the book called Every Believer Confident. It's a book about apologetics for the common Christian, written by Mark Farnham. A common objection raised against the Christian faith is that it is not logical. Logic, however, is a gift of God who created this world and everything in it. The truth will be, it actually must be logical. Farnham comments, while it is true that Christians can be illogical and irrational, the Christian faith is neither of these things. The Christian faith is the only belief system that reflects the nature of the world and the truth as it is. Close quote. Therefore, we ought to be logical as we defend and commend the Christian faith while challenging our conversation partners, their logic or lack thereof, behind their false beliefs. Farnham uses this chapter to equip us with some logic tools. Now, as a side note, not written in the written Touchpoint, it's a technical chapter about just logic and logical reasoning. And I think there is a value in thinking about these things and being equipped with these tools. So bear with me as we dive into some technical tools of logic here. So Farnham says, logic is the art and science of reasoning well. Logical fallacies are, therefore, quote, flaws in reasoning that at first hearing seem to be true, but on examination are found to be false. Close quote. Farnham explains several logical fallacies with examples of how Christians and unbelievers might use each of them. The aim in this lesson is twofold. First, to help Christians avoid using these logical fallacies as we defend the Christian faith. And then second, to help Christians discern logical fallacies behind false beliefs. Let me briefly highlight several, not all of them, of the logical fallacies that Farnham touches on. First is appeal to authority. Farnham says, under an appeal to authority, a claim is defended or advanced on the basis of who believes it. Close quote. Christians might appeal to Albert Einstein because he believed in a quote-unquote higher power. Unbelievers might appeal to the Royal Academy of Science, where 93% of the members do not believe in God. Farnham says, quote, nothing is ever true just because of who said it, close quote. Second one, personal attack. Farnham explains, people who employ personal attack ignore an actual argument and instead criticize the one who offers it, close quote. Christians may try to discredit Mormonism based upon the questionable character of its founder, Joseph Smith. Unbelievers might reject Christian apologists that they perceive to be uneducated. Personal attacks not only are rude and inconsiderate, but they also distract from the real issue of the debate by focusing on the other person. A third one is false cause. Farnham explains a false cause involves attributing a cause to an event or idea that is not its actual cause. Christians might say something like, quote, the reason crime is on the rise is that people have stopped going to church, close quote. Unbelievers might say the opposite, that violent crime has declined because church attendance has fallen. Farnham concludes by saying, quote, only when we can demonstrate definitively that one thing causes another should we link them together as cause and effect, close quote. A fourth logical fallacy, red herring. Farnham explains a red herring is an argument that seems to support a person's position, but in reality has nothing to do with the topic at hand. A Christian might say that Christianity is the truth because Christians build so many beautiful buildings in the world. An unbeliever might deny the existence of God because God did not answer his or her specific prayer. These arguments do not demonstrate a logical connection with the topic on hand. Another logical fallacy, hasty generalization. Farnham says, hasty generalization draws a conclusion about everything of a particular kind based on one or just a few examples, close quote. A Christian might say that all atheists are dangerous and immoral people based upon an interaction he or she may have had with one individual. An unbeliever might say all churches only want money and beg for money because he or she has witnessed one church make a financial appeal. We must be careful not to make generalized judgments based upon a limited scope of evidence. And the last logical fallacy we'll touch on from Farnham today is begging the question. Farnham says, begging the question involves assuming that something is true without proving it. For a Christian, they might say, quote, evolution cannot explain the origin of life on earth because it is not true, close quote. An unbeliever may beg the question by saying, quote, science has disproved the existence of God because there is no scientific evidence of God. Both of these are making statements without any proof behind it. These are some of the logical fallacies common in discussions over the truth of Christianity. On the one hand, we do not want to be caught using these and thus leading another to reject Christianity because of our lack of logic. On the other hand, we want to be discerning enough of the fallacies someone might be using against our defense of the faith. Like most of the disciplines involved with apologetics, Farnham will say again, quote, detecting logical fallacies takes time and practice, close quote. But this becomes an essential tool in our ability to defend the Christian faith. Let's be praying that our unbelieving conversation partners may be called out of darkness into the glorious light of the truth of Christ. May God be pleased to use our apologetic efforts in sharing the good news of Christ. A few highlights to draw your attention to this day as the month of May is concluding. I remind you for one last time, our missionaries of the month have been Ben and Julie Jensen, serving with Mission to the World in Nagoya, Japan. Secondly, this Sunday is June 1st, and we are having a summer kickoff picnic for our church family immediately following the worship service. So after the worship service, we're going to invite you to make your way over to West Flanders Park. It's just north of the church building at the corner of 55th Street and Neiman. It's a beautiful park. We're at the larger shelter pavilion, which is further away from the parking lot, but there's flush toilets and a playground for kids. It's a beautiful area to gather. We're going to be grilling hot dogs and bratwurst and have water available. We're asking our church family to help fill out the meal by providing either a side dish or dessert to share. And if you want to bring an extra beverage to share with people other than just the water that's available, you're welcome to do that. Our men's ministry has a special 6-week study in the book of Galatians this summer. We're encouraging all the men of the church to sign up for one of the 4 different studies. There have been various emails. There's a sign up at church on Sunday mornings. We encourage our men to avail yourself, commit to one of those studies for the summer, for the 6 meetings, and enjoy that connection with other men. And then I want to close by just saying you have an opportunity to pray with your church family. On the first Wednesday of every month, we have a monthly prayer gathering at 7 p.m. at the church. So next Wednesday, June 4th, we will be holding our monthly prayer gathering. Love for you to join us and be a part of that monthly prayer gathering. And then on Sunday mornings at 10:15 before worship, pray with me or Pastor John or whoever's available, and we're going to pray for our worship service. It's not a long prayer gathering. It's rather brief, and only 1, maybe 2 people will pray, but we'd love to have more people just join us as we pray for our worship service. This is the high point of our week. This is the ordinary means of God's grace being extended to his people. And we are appealing and praying and inviting the Spirit to be working in our midst during that worship service. So join us Sunday mornings at 10:15. We'd love to have you with us for prayer. Well, thank you for joining me today for our Touchpoint. I look forward to being with you soon. God bless.